There are more TV shows and movies that you can watch for free than ever before. In this video, I'll highlight the best free streaming apps coming up. So last year, I made a video highlighting the best free streaming apps. Since then, a lot has changed in the world of streaming services. Right now, what we're seeing is a huge increase in the number of people that are using these free streaming apps. And the companies behind them have responded by adding new features, new content, all kinds of stuff. So for that reason, I wanted to make an updated video. Now in this video, I'm going to focus on two different types of content in these apps. The first is going to be for on-demand content. This works just how you would watch Netflix. There's a menu of TV shows and movies. You select what you want to watch and start streaming. Pretty simple. The next type of content we'll focus on is going to be apps that have live channels. Now, these aren't necessarily the same live channels that you would get with broadcast or cable, but it does work the same way. You can flip between the channels, you can just tune in to whatever's going on. It's a way to just kind of sit back and relax, and you don't have to put a lot of energy into deciding what to watch. Now, when it comes to free streaming services, most of these do include advertising that you'll have to sit through, and that's kind of the trade-off for it being free. There are, however, a couple of apps that let you watch content for free and they don't have advertising. So make sure to stay tuned until the end when I talk about those apps. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with my top free streaming apps. Now, the first one I'm going to talk about is Pluto TV. I will point out this isn't necessarily a ranking, these aren't in any particular order. Pluto TV, though, does tend to be one of the most popular free streaming apps. Now, like I mentioned earlier, there's apps that are going to have on-demand content and apps that have live channels. Pluto TV's emphasis is really on the live channels, although over the past year and a half or so, they have really amped up their content that's on demand, and I think it's much more impressive than it was when I made my video last year. Pluto TV is owned by the same Paramount company as Paramount Plus and Showtime, as well as different cable networks like MTV, Comedy Central, and VH1. So you will see a lot of Pluto-specific versions of these channels. It's not going to be the same that you would find on cable TV, but it does have a live feed of different shows that you would expect from reality shows on MTV or sitcoms from TV Land, things like that. There's even channels that give you a preview of content that you can find on Paramount Plus and Showtime. So this is a way to kind of go ahead and watch some of those shows for free and not have to pay for that monthly streaming subscription. When it comes to watching these free ad-supported streaming television channels, or FAST channels as they're called in the media, Pluto TV ranks among my top choices. The next one I'll talk about is Amazon Freevee. Now, this used to be called IMDb TV. One thing that I liked even back in the IMDb TV days were the movies that were available on this streaming service. And they still offer really great movies. In fact, they've expanded with content from 20th Century Studios, which is kind of interesting because that's actually owned by Disney. So you can watch movies like Deadpool through Amazon Freevee without paying any money. Now, of course, everything does have advertising breaks, just like they did with Pluto TV. I actually think their advertising is probably about the same in terms of length. Most commercial breaks are about a minute and a half or under. Now, Amazon Freevee has really been getting into doing original shows that you can only find on Freevee. This includes a reboot of Judge Judy called Judy Justice. They've also done some continuations of shows that were originally on Prime Video, like Bosch Legacy. Besides that, you'll see things like Alex Rider, Moment of Truth, and a documentary about Post Malone. Freevee does have some live channels, just like Pluto TV did, although I do think really the star of the show with Freevee is their on-demand movies and TV shows. Another thing that I'll mention about Freevee is it is available on a wide range of devices. One of the drawbacks to IMDb TV is it was essentially kind of like something that was housed within the Prime Video app, but Amazon Freevee has really focused on making its own app, and they do have an app for Apple TV, which they did not used to have. Now on to Tubi. Tubi is a streaming service that I tend to watch on a pretty regular basis. They really have a focus on not only some of the big blockbuster movies, but there's some more independent, smaller films, B-movie horror. There's a lot of cult classics in addition to those big blockbuster films. Now, Tubi has started getting into making some of their own original content as well. I don't think their lineup is quite as impressive as Freevee. It's really focused on B-movie horror, some true crime documentaries, and then they have some adult animation as well. But in my opinion, it's really not too impressive. Now, Tubi does have live channels. These really focus in particular on live local newscasts, as well as some live sports. Now, I'm not a huge sports person, so I haven't really delved too deep into this. I don't know how much of this is just like repeats of stuff that you would get on cable, or if there's anything that would really appeal to sports fans. If you've watched the sports channels on Tubi or any of the other streaming apps that I'm talking about in this video, let me know in the comment section down below what you think of it if you're a sports fan. Now on to the Roku Channel. The Roku Channel comes preloaded on Roku devices. You can also download it onto other devices as well, however, not the Apple TV. Like Pluto TV, they have live channels, and they also have a lot of on-demand content as well. One nice thing about the Roku Channel is they do have premium channels that you can add to the Roku Channel to watch everything together in one interface. So for example, if you want to watch Paramount Plus or you want to watch Discovery Plus, you can sign up for the Roku Channel and watch everything together through the Roku Channel app. For me, really their live channels are what I spend the most time on when I am watching the Roku Channel. I would basically tie it together with Pluto TV. I think Pluto TV has some channels that are exclusive to their service that are maybe a little bit better, but I do like the live channel guide through the Roku Channel. I think it most emulates something that you would find with cable or broadcast TV, and I just think the navigation is a little bit easier. Now, like Amazon Freevee, they have really emphasized original content. They actually purchased the rights to the entire back catalog of the shows that were made for Quibi. If you're not familiar with Quibi, it was a mobile-only streaming service that launched right at the start of the pandemic. So people weren't getting out and watching shows on the go. It was just kind of bad timing for them, and there were other factors, so it went bankrupt. The Roku Channel picked up all of those shows, so you can watch them through the Roku Channel. They also have some upcoming movies coming out as well, including a biographical film about Weird Al Yankovic starring Daniel Radcliffe, and you'll be able to watch that for free this fall through the Roku Channel. Next up, we have Peacock. Now, you've probably heard of Peacock. It's the streaming service from the same parent company as NBC and Universal Studios. And even though they do offer paid plans, I don't think everyone realizes you can start out watching Peacock for free without paying anything. Now, it does seem like maybe just by my own anecdotal experience that some of the movies that are available to watch for free with Peacock have become a little more limited over time. But at least for some of their TV shows from NBC, I believe they have the first couple seasons of The Office and some of the current shows that you can find on NBC. You can watch those for free through the Peacock app. They do also have live channels, so if you want to watch things like NBC News Now or live channels that feature feeds of SNL sketches, clips from the Today Show or the Tonight Show, you can watch that through Peacock for free with ads. Now, at the start of this video, I did mention that there's free streaming apps where you don't have to sit through advertising. These are going to be apps that allow you to watch shows through your local library. Essentially, your library is footing the bill as long as you've got a library card, which you can get for free. It's paid for with your tax dollars. You can watch movies and TV shows for free through these apps. Just make sure to go on the website for these apps and look up your library to see if they participate. The first one I'll talk about is an app that I've spent a lot of time with called Canopy. I've made a separate video about it if you want to check that out. But Canopy is a free streaming app that gives you full movies and TV shows to watch without ads through your local library. It focuses on some of the more independent films, art house films, documentaries, things like that. They get content from studios like A24 and the Criterion Collection. There's also a lot of older classic films. So if you're a fan of cinema and you like to watch those movies that would be in an art house theater, or you like things from A24, Canopy is definitely something to check out. Another one is called Hoopla. I haven't spent a whole lot of time with Hoopla just because the current city that I live in does not participate in Hoopla's program. They participate in Canopy's. However, when I lived in Chicago, Hoopla did work with the Chicago Public Library. The neat thing about Hoopla is you can not only watch movies and TV shows for free, but you can also get audiobooks, you can get comic books, you can get books, all sorts of things through the Hoopla app. And finally, I'll go through some of my honorable mentions. These are apps that I've tried that I also think are really good. I don't watch them as much as the ones that I've gone through so far, but they are worth mentioning. For apps that have live channels similar to the Roku Channel or Pluto TV, there is Zumo. This has a good mixture of different live local news broadcasts, as well as some entertainment channels, on-demand content. Then there's Plex. Now this app does a few different things, but it does have live channels. Then there's Distro TV. This is also an app with live streaming channels, in particular that focuses on international channels. Local Now TV is an app that focuses on live local news broadcasts, and they also have different entertainment content as well. And then there's Local BTV that allows you to watch certain local channels that are the same that you would get over the air with an antenna for free over the internet. Now, they're currently in 23 different cities in the United States, and they plan to expand over time. They don't have the main broadcast networks like AMC or NBC, but they do have some of those secondary channels like Cozy TV or Buzzer. If you do want content from the main broadcast networks, all four of the big broadcasters, ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox, have their own dedicated apps that feature recent episodes of their TV shows that you can watch for free with advertising, and you can always watch your local PBS station for free through the PBS app or at pbs.org. So that wraps up my video. What do you think? Have you tried out any of these free streaming apps? Are there any that I didn't mention that you think I should have? Let me know down in the comment section below. If you liked this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Also, subscribe to this YouTube channel to stay up to date with all things streaming. I want to thank you so much for watching today, and I hope you all have a good one. Bye-bye.